Hello everybody, SuperMarioPoke here, and before we get into the battle, my mic is like starting to freak out. Like sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new one, but if it ends up where there's a day or so that I'm not putting anything out because my mic is being dumb, hopefully this narration is when the mic is not being dumb or else I have to redo it again. Anyway, so into the battle. This is a theme team match against Sebbiesawrr, so go check her out. This is not directly for the tournament, this is just for fun. And if you know what her theme team is, leave a comment about it. It is a pretty obvious theme, so go ahead and leave a comment if you know what it is. Now, here I was thinking about just starting to set up comm mines and sweeping, but then in the back of my mind, I thought she may have toxic. So I go into Breloom, and it ends up she has toxic. So, I'm going to stop that from ruining my chances of sweeping with Slowbro, at least for now, and set up a substitute. So now she reflects, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I can at least put something to sleep still. I'm not going to do too much damage with the Focus Punch, but I mean, I can put Kingdra to sleep. It does have a Lumberry. It is a sub-Dragon Dance set, so, Lumberry, break it from its confusion, or prevent it, getting a free switch in on something that's asleep. Now, here I do go for the Spore again, and she subs, and I'm like, nah. So, unfortunately, now she gets a free sub, and I'm going to have to start Focus Punching as she Dragon Dances. Now, I'm going to get off a Focus Punch, and basically, her sub, it's going to break because this isn't going to take him out, but it's going to do a lot of damage to that Kingdra. And unfortunately, Waterfall is going to break my sub, and with a critical hit, and nonetheless. And also, she has Outrage as her last move, obviously, and I'm going to have to find a way to deal with that. Now, I figured going into Slowbro, I could take anything, or at least one Outrage, or just a Waterfall would be nothing. And she does lock herself into Outrage, so now I can go ahead and switch to Registeel and my Metal Mario to tank the Outrage. Now I can go for the Thunder Wave as it's a 3-turn Outrage. Now she'll be parafused, then I can set up the rocks. As she is parafused, she'll either switch out or try to hit through it. And so I'm going to take my time to set up the rocks after I go for the T-Wave. And it ends up where she doesn't go down, but she does hit herself in confusion. So that will buy me a turn here. And the Reflect also wears off. So now that the Reflect is gone, Breloom could potentially come back in. Her sleeping Pokemon is no longer asleep because it was her Kingdra. And I'm just going to finish that off with an Iron Head, so she doesn't even have a status absorber. And that is great news. Now, Metal Mario is still sitting at nice HP, 269 out of 363, so I'm not about to let him try to take an Earthquake, as I do want to save him for later. I can just go to Hammer Bro. No matter what she does with this, it is going to not, take me out. I can always switch out with Regeneration, get at least most of it back, and save that for later. So she goes to Virgo, and I'm like, all right, I'm fine with that. I can switch out, and I can go to Kamek. No! She ends up going to Jirachi, and I was hoping maybe I can bluff the Hidden Power Fire, but I'm also going to switch out as I don't have it. So just going to go to 1-Up Shroom as she goes for the Wish, and it then Psychics me right after. And no comment. I'm just going to leave it at that, no comment. I get destroyed by a Psychic, send in DK, and DK here is going to Flare Blitz. She thought I would overpredict and either go for some other move or U-turn, predicting a switch, and I take her out in one hit with the Flare Blitz and take some recoil as well. Now, she does have this, and I do decide, hey, might as well stay in and Flare Blitz, right? I mean, there's no harm, no foul, free damage, and Deoxys doesn't have that much defense, so I wasn't going to take too much recoil from it. Might as well try to take him out, and now she goes for the Reflect, so that Deoxys is still standing there. And no gender. Do you call it a he or a she? I don't know. I always say he when I'm talking about a genderless Pokemon, but is it an it? Leave a comment about that. What do you think? What would you classify the gender or the article for a genderless Pokemon? That is actually a very interesting question. Now, here, I mean, it's definitely not going to do much damage, at all. So I've got to go to Sweeper. I can start. I noticed here, I was like, wait a minute. Recover, dual screens, and she is Toxic. I can set up Swords Dances, because for some reason, I was thinking, oh, God, Ice Beam. No, I don't want to get hit with the Ice Beam. And now I can just, set up a Swords Dance. And I do know that unless she is, magically faster with the Icicle Crash, I know I can live an Ice Shard, bar a crit, and she does not get a crit, which is great news. So I can finish her off with the Earthquake, but she lives, which means I'm going to have to protect, as I'm not sure what she's going to do, but she does Ice Shard again, and now I can go ahead and live the next Ice Shard and take her out with an Earthquake. I thought about switching it up to Ice Fang, but Earthquake's 100%. Ice Fang can miss, and wait, what? Critical hit? No! So yeah, she does get the critical hit there, and Reflect wears off, but I lost my Gliscor, and that is not very happy for me, but, not very happy, whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn out with my DK, and Stealth Rocks, I'm pretty low on HP, so I got to keep that in mind now. Kamek's going to come in as she can just send in Libra, and I'm hoping maybe a Draco could, finish it off, but I highly doubt it. I'm just going to switch out, go to Metal Mario, as, Recover is kind of obvious, and I want to get this thing maybe paralyzed. That would be nice, since I can't put it to sleep anymore, and at least having a Paralyze on it would definitely be helpful, as maybe there's a chance of the whole Iron Head flinching, but the important thing is she cannot touch this thing at all. She is Toxic, Recover, Dual Screens. Push comes to shove, this is the number one switch into her Deoxys, and potentially, stalling her out of all her PP and letting him struggle to death, because he literally cannot touch me one bit. And here I'm just going to try to get some Iron Head flinches and waste a couple turns of, the screens. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite happen. I want to space out the Reflect and Light screen a little bit, but once again, it doesn't happen, and now she can just recover off all that damage, because the pair flinching is not my friend right now. I'm not sure what's going on. It's just not really being very friendly. So I'm just going to go to DK, and DK here is just going to go ahead, and, this guy comes out. I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't care. He has extreme speed. Oh, well. Anyway, so I died at the extreme speed. I was not expecting that one bit. I actually went for the rock slide there, thinking I could take out the Dragonite. And Libra comes back into play, and once again, I've got to do something. So I Ice Beam, and it does nothing. So I've had enough. I'm going to go back to Mario, and I can also decide just to go for the Seismic Tosses, but I choose to go Iron Head. Reflect wears off and goes back up. So once again, paraflunging, not my day today. I've got to switch out, go into Kamek, and try to do some damage. I mean, it's pretty much, this thing is just being a pain, and I'm really not exactly sure what to do here. I need to take this thing out in order to get, not get toxic on my Slowbro, so I can come out and sweep, and look at that, a critical hit. So that is definitely going to help me out a lot as she goes for toxic, and that means that I can finish her off next turn, and the Thunderbolt is going to do enough damage. Thankfully, -2. If that didn't kill, I would have been surprised, and I would have been really sad. So I do take him out, and I'm really fine with what's going on here. I can just go to Metal Mario, and she ends up going for the X Scissors, so it's a free chance for me to T-Wave. I really don't mind. I mean, my main goal now is just to go ahead and get a switch into Slowbro, set up a couple of Calm Minds, and deal with it. And this Dragonite, he get off Lumberry. I don't care. Paralyzation, man, I'll just do it next turn. So she is for now no longer paralyzed, but I do have T-Wave, and she has Fire Punch. And that Fire Punch is going to do nothing, like surprisingly little damage. So it's definitely a defensive Dragonite, not fully offensive, and it's probably going to try to get up, a lot of Dragon Dances under its natural bulk and bulky investment, try to do some damage. So, but it doesn't matter. I have a free switch to Slowbro, and Reflect wears off. Now she does have extreme speed, and I'm fine with that. I have Calm Mind, and at this point, it is pretty much a good game as Calm Mind Slowbro. I mean, not much to say about that. Eventually, there's a point where your team can't handle it, unless you see Slowbro, you're like, all right, I got to save something, because something needs to be able to take this thing out. And she goes for Outrage. It's not going to do enough damage. She could get fully paralyzed, and I can just slack off till she gets confused. If she gets a crit, that would be very, very, very unfortunate. But, there's the Paralyze and then the Parafusion. So, at this point, it is a good game. I hope you guys enjoyed the match. And I actually do have my round 2 match from the theme team tournament, probably coming out soon. I need to record it and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, my mic is starting to act up weird. One of the cords in it, I think my cat chewed and it's a little bit frayed or something, but I'm just going to take it back, get a new one with that warranty, and hopefully by then, I'll have a video out for you guys. But I'm pretty much hoping, this video doesn't end up freaking out and having a pretty much static-y, crappy narration quality. So anyways, besides the little rambling on there, I will see you guys later. And if my mic does end up breaking even more to the point I can't use it, or I'm just tired of trying to deal with it, I will definitely get a new one, so do not. And I will see you guys later. So anyways, SuperMarioPoke signing out. Peace.